Hello, it's me, Markus again. And today I want to talk about a statement that goes against everything you've been taught. In trading, time is not money. I know that sounds crazy. Time is money is the mantra of the business world, the mantra of self-optimization, the mantra of every productivity guru. But in trading, it's different. And I want to explain why. The trading industry wants you to believe trading is a full-time job. They say you need to watch charts 8 hours a day. You need to constantly stay on top of things. The more time you invest, the more successful you'll be. But I want to be honest, that's nonsense. And I'll explain why it's nonsense. The industry wants you to constantly sit in front of the screen because that's good for their broker's fees, because that sells their trading software, because that justifies their webinars and coaching calls. They want you to believe more time equals more success, but in reality, the opposite is true. Trading must adapt to life, not the other way around. That's the fundamental truth the industry doesn't tell you because it's not sexy. That's exactly why my education takes 2 years. Not because you should sit at your computer 8 hours a day for 2 years, but because you have 2 years to understand the logic at your own pace and neurologically automate it. The online logic course that starts the education is a video course. You work through it at your own pace. Personally, I calculate about 3 months, but it can be faster or slower, it's up to you. Because it's not about getting through it quickly, it's about really understanding it. So, and during the education, something interesting happens. It does not become more, it becomes less. Why? Because through the logic, it becomes clear what trading really requires. And the insight is less is more. I call the market my employer. And like any employer, it sets the conditions. Mathematics, structure, probabilities. I don't decide when I trade. The market decides when it gives me a signal. My job is to wait for that signal. That's the fundamental difference between what I teach and what the industry sells to you. So the industry wants you to constantly sit in front of the screen, but in reality, trading is something different. Waiting, www, worldwide waiting, when you've understood how trend following really works, when you have learned to wait for mathematical signals instead of interpreting charts, then the time in front of the computer is reduced to a minimum. Even in day trading, because you don't stare at charts all day, you wait for mathematical signals. And when they come, you trade. And when they don't come, you live your life. Sunny day. Life is too short. That's the reality of trend following when it's properly understood and executed. So, and whether you do day trading or work in higher time frames isn't decided at the beginning. First the theory, then the practice. First the license, then buy a car. It develops during the education, when you understand how the market works, when you find your own working style, when you realize what works neurologically for you. And if you're working in higher time frames, then it's only minutes per day or even per week. You check your charts, you see if there is a valid signal. You trade or you don't trade. Done. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the reality. In trading, time is not money. In trading, patience is money. In trading, discipline is money. In trading, the ability to wait is money. And the ability to wait often means you are not sitting in front of the computer. That's exactly why it takes 2 years of education. Not because you have to invest 40 hours per week for 2 years, but because your brain needs 2 years to understand the logic, automate the rules, and develop the discipline to wait for the market instead of chasing it. So, how much time do you really need? I would say at the beginning, maybe a few hours per week for the logic course, for the starting of education, and then during the education as much or as little as your life allows, because trading must adapt to life and not the other way around. And after the education, as little as possible, because you've learned to wait, and because you have understood that in trading time is not money. If you want to learn more about the fundamentals of my 2-year education, why it really takes 2 years, how the 11, 111 and 500 repeating principle works, and how you reach neurological automation, there's my online logic course for you. Link you will find in the description right below the video. I'm Markus, and if you want to learn more, subscribe my channel and my newsletter, link also in the description. I hope we see each other in the next video. And as always, have courage and be kind, and may the force of the logic be with you, because this is the way.